Hey there guys, and welcome to another video of Ask Exterminator. And this is a series where you ask me questions and I answer them. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me and have answered, leave them in the comments of this video. This week I'm answering questions from last week's video. So let's just get started. Here's some good ones as always. First one from Ultra. They ask, if you could change the recipe for a science pack, how would you change it, or the recipe for any other item for that matter? And that's a great question. I think that is a tough question. If I were to change the recipe for science packs, I think honestly the science packs are pretty good right now. There was a time where I would definitely make changes to them, but they actually seem to fairly decently balance out science packs and stuff. After all the updates they did to them and such like that. I would say that, I don't know. It's like there's some stuff that I think is weird a little bit. Personally, I would maybe change military a little bit. If I had to pick one, I think I would change military a little bit. Right now it takes grenades, walls, and piercing ammo. And I think that's actually, I think it's a little expensive for when you would normally get military. Now, obviously, as you scale up in the game and sciences require more military for like the infinite like artillery range and stuff, then yeah, you would want it to be expensive. But like for when you get it in the game, a lot of people get it either right after green science, between green and blue, or like after blue science. Um, I don't know, it seems kind of expensive to me. Like, piercing ammo is kind of expensive because it takes steel, and then the grenades take a ton of coal and some iron. The walls aren't super expensive. They're, it just, I don't know. That's the only one. I suppose they've changed it several times. I think maybe they were kind of unsettled on it as well for quite a while. I think they've kind of settled on what it is now. In terms of other recipes, I mean, without like looking at every single recipe in the game, and like studying them, I can't really answer that any more than that. I think most recipes are, I think most recipes are okay, and for the most part, kind of make sense with what's in the game and all that. To be honest, I think they're pretty decent, pretty well balanced at this point. Yeah, I think that's the best I can answer that one. I may have a better answer later. So Jason asks, thanks for answering my question. You're welcome. I'm currently planning a vanilla mods not needed for the factory to run stuff, 20k signs per minute, many bot networks belt factory, and I've taken many ideas and tips from your streams, videos. Keep up the great work. Okay. And their actual question is, as a vegetarian, do you like radishes? I love them and they are my replacement for chips. Do you have any tasty, quick ways to introduce more vegetables into your diet? This is a great question. I don't really like radishes. I like them on some things. I actually find radishes on like nachos to be really good. Believe it or not, that they add a really nice flavor to it. Unless some other part of your nachos is really spicy, like if you make your salsa or your guac super spicy, you maybe don't want radishes. But like if you have kind of tame spice level of nacho stuff, and adding radishes is really nice. It's kind of fresh, but it's also like adds a little bit of bite to it. Um, it's not that I dislike radishes, but like aside from being a vegetarian, I have some other food restrictions because I have some like digestive issues, and radishes are something I'm not really supposed to eat within that restriction, so that's part of it. I can definitely see how they're a good replacement for chips, though, although that seems like a really strong chip. I don't know. I'd be interested if you like fry them or like dry them out or something. And then my tasty and quick ways to introduce more vegetables into your diet kind of loops back to what I said, I think it was the last episode about salads, which may seem really obvious, but the thing is, like, it's super easy. Literally, all you do is you just cut the vegetables, and that's it. Like, you don't even have to cook them. Like, obviously, that doesn't work for all vegetables, but cucumber, peppers, onions. I don't know if onions count as vegetable. Carrots. Hell, you could put broccoli, uncooked broccoli, in your salads. I mean, you can put basically anything you want in a salad as long as it doesn't require cooking. And that's super easy. All you do is like rinse it if it needs to be rinsed, and then chop it. And that seems obvious, and it's like initially may not seem tasty, but like I went into last episode, I think it was, is you can make a salad super good. Like I said, I make like a loaded salad. So I put a boiled egg in there, I put cheese, I crush some tortilla chips on top. I use ranch dressing, which helps. You know, and once you put all that in there and like mix it together, at least for me, like you don't really even notice that there's vegetables. You know they're in there, but it's not like just eating a plain lettuce salad with vegetables on top and nothing else, because that's kind of disgusting. And I mean, I like vegetables. It's not that like I'm trying to hide them, but just as an observation. That's super quick and easy, and I think it's super tasty. You really don't even notice them that much when they're mixed in with all the other stuff. That is the easiest one I can recommend, because most other things require some sort of like prep or cooking of some sort, which obviously makes it more complicated and time consuming. So that's my suggestion. Pink Shades. Denver, cheers. Oh, nice. Yeah, so Pink Shades is also in Colorado, which is awesome. Not too far from me, it sounds like. That's so cool. There's several people actually who live kind of in the metro area, aside from me. That's really cool. Um, Commander Nebula asks, are there any base layouts besides spaghetti, main bus, or city block? Not really. There's kind of an in-between between spaghetti and main bus, where it's like it's not like a really nicely laid out straight main bus, but it's not quite messy enough to be spaghetti. There's kind of in between that, but I don't really know of a name for it. Um, and I guess there is another one. I guess there's like a segregated, like segregated isn't the right word. Like I'm trying to think. There's another word, and I just can't come up with it. Like separated train bases that aren't city blocks. So like kind of like my sitting support is the space base for basically all the mega bases I built with Colonel Will, where all of our production areas were separate. So like we had an iron smelter area, and then somewhere else we had a copper smelter area, and then somewhere else we had a circuit production, etc. All connected by trains, but it wasn't a city block layout. It was kind of just put wherever, but spaced out enough from each other to work. Which I think that's my favorite. I'm actually not a fan of city block. I don't like city block builds. And and yeah, so those are kind of the in betweens. I don't really have a classification. Like I don't really actually have a name for them. But those plus the three you mentioned, I'd say are the five. I can't really think of any other type of base that could really be classified on its own necessarily. Because every base I think fits into one of those five things, and at least fairly closely. Let me see. A lot of good comments, which I am reading. Backseat Gamer asks, would you consider playing other games? I know you said you started your channel on Minecraft. Have you played other games such as City Skylines or Prison Architect or those types? I have before. I did start my channel very, very long time ago on Minecraft. I have played City Skylines on the channel. You can look back through. They're very short playthroughs. The main reason I don't play other games is, one, I don't have time really right now, or haven't for a long time, and also they just don't do well on the channel. Now, obviously, I could, I guess, very slowly become a variety gamer, much as like Catherine of Sky did, but the thing is, while doing that, like the viewership and stuff would just be awful. Like it just seems like people just don't watch on my channel. They just don't watch other games. I played City Skylines before, and I ended them fairly shortly because they got like almost no views. And the time spent doing that, I could have just spent making Factorio content where it generated 5 times the income and brought in 5 times the amount of viewers, and stuff like that. So that's the main reason. If I just did this as a hobby, I'd probably be playing all kinds of games. But since I do this as a living right now, and have for a while, I need to also consider income. That's not obviously the only thing I consider, but that is a big factor. So that's the main reason. It's not that I don't really want to. It's one, I don't have that much time, so the time I do have, I would like to spend on Factorio, which brings in the most everything: revenue, viewers, subscribers, interaction, everything. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Chemicals Gaming Hub asks, how's your day been? My day's been great, thank you. Um, Fred G has a bunch of questions they've put together. A lot of these I'm not going to answer, period, because I don't think they're really. I don't think it's like I don't think here is really an appropriate place for me to go into some of these. They're very controversial. So I'm gonna just pick a few. Maybe I'll pick a couple next video and over the next few videos. But some of them I'm just not gonna answer, period, because I just don't. Um, I just don't think that they're appropriate to answer here. um, these are like all non-game related, kind of philosophical questions. Oh. One question they ask is, as a YouTuber, do you think that the follow your dream slash passion statement is wise? Um, I guess to a degree. Like I kind of just fell into this. I was really in kind of a holding period in my life. Like I was living with my parents again after having moved out, and I was like, there was like not really any other job opportunities, and I was just like playing games and stumbled across Factorio and then made a couple random videos because I had YouTube experience. Like as a kid, I made YouTube videos. And then I like got invited to the Hydra Dilemma thing, and from there it kind of took off, and I just really enjoyed it and pursued it. Initially, I had absolutely no intentions of doing it as a job, and then as it started to grow, I kind of made that my goal, and I did achieve that. I have got here a lot in part thanks to all you guys. Um, so it's I mean, I could have just I guess not followed it, but I didn't really have any opportunities at the time that were otherwise. I think that the statement, I think it's very much depends on your situation. Like if you're in a situation where I was in, if you're able if you were able to live somewhere like rent free and like didn't have a ton of obligations and like just had time to kill, yes, absolutely. I think following your dreams slash passions is a great thing to do because if you enjoy it, you should be doing it. But if you are like, and I'm not saying that like in any other situation you shouldn't, but say for example you're presented with like a ton of job opportunities that may not necessarily be your dreams or passion, but wouldn't be awful. Those are going to be easier if you want to follow the easier path, probably. Or if they just offer like substantially more income, then that's also something to consider. Now, definitely, I am not a fan. I'm not a supporter of like just taking the highest paying job even if you hate it. I there's so many people that do that like hate their jobs and it's absolutely like not what they're passionate about, but they do it just because it pays good money. Um, and I don't think you should do that at all. I really don't. So I think it kind of just depends on your situation, to be honest. I mean, ideally, your dream slash passion would become, your thing that can support you and your family if you have one and stuff. Um, and to kind of follow that up, another question they ask is, what about the "you can be anything you want to be" statement? This I very much do believe in. I think a lot of people don't believe in this, and I think this has kind of almost become like a meme that, that people is just like, you know, where parents are like motivational speakers are like, you can be anything you want to be, and it seems like, and there's a lot of situations where it's like this is coming from someone who seems to have like everything or like has things easy or whatever or already has what they want, and you're like, oh well, of course you say that, you achieved it. But the thing is, like, I don't think that invalidates the statement. I think that truly, if very much of the mindset, if you set your mind to something and you believe in it and you actually work towards it, you can do anything you want to do. Like you probably can't. I mean, some people, sure, some people maybe they just had the thing fall into their lap, and that's great, and that's just what was supposed to happen for them. But like people, I think like some people just kind of expect something to happen for them, and I mean sometimes it does, and that's great. But like some people will just be like, well, I gave it a solid effort when really they didn't it much at all, and then decide that they can't be or do what they want to do. Sometimes it takes a lot of work. Like it took me like 3 or 4 years of doing YouTube like almost every single day to be able to actually make it a job, and it's not like a super great paying job. But it was what I wanted to do, and I did it. in it, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I don't want to spend too much time. There's a lot of other great questions here. I'll probably grab some from this for next video and answer them. Back to some Factorio questions. Haunted Driver says, oh, well, this is kind of in relation to the footage that was in last week's video, which is kind of, I think it was like a base tour or something. But they ask, how the heck do you get so much oil out? My refineries always get stuck with putting their products out. Well, if they get stuck, that means that you're like not utilizing some of the ingredients fully. And that's when you would want to use like cracking, like light to heavy oil cracking, or heavy to light oil cracking, or, you know, definitely put, I would say like put like one tank for each liquid. I think that the answer is definitely not just keep adding tanks. A lot of people do that, and I'm very much not a fan of that solution. It's not really even a solution at all. So that's like, you shouldn't have a problem with anything backing up unless you're either A, not consuming the products the oil makes, which is, I guess, a good thing because you have enough of them, or if just one thing's backing up, then definitely do cracking, because that's like the point of cracking is so that your stuff is all actually used. So you're not like always backing up on light oil and never have petroleum. Because if you're cracking your light oil to petroleum, then that solves both issues. So I hope that helps. Sneaky Guns asks, Exterminator, would you ever consider doing a beginner's guide on Anno 1800? I like your sound. Think you do a great job. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. I don't know. I've never played an Anno game. A beginner's guide, certainly not, because I don't have a clue how to play the game. Maybe like a beginner's perspective. Maybe that's what you meant. If I ever got time, maybe it kind of fits in the games I like to play. But that kind of just refer back to the question I answered near the start about just not having time and such. Is that a possibility? No. Is it likely? Probably not. Let me see. Chris Fippen says some stuff. I'm reading what you said, Chris. I'm not gonna read it out loud, but I do agree. I completely agree with everything you said there. And then your question is, what do you think is the appeal of Factorio to the wider audience? Minecraft had a similar effect. Is it just that it's satisfying? Yes, I think it's incredibly satisfying to work through the puzzles, and when you accomplish them, to have that feeling of accomplishment and realize like what what you've been able to do. Now, Factorio is definitely more of a niche thing than Minecraft, I think, which is part of why it's not as popular as Minecraft got. You know, there's some people who don't like the graphics, there's some people who don't like the top-down style, etc., etc. But in general, I think the appeal is just that you know, it's kind of the whole thing's a puzzle, and when you work through it, it's super satisfying to get it done, and then it's kind of infinitely scalable. Obviously not infinitely, but most people, the majority of people, aren't going to like hit a barrier with it of like at least like performance. Like you can just keep making bigger and bigger unless you're on a potato of a computer, or I mean, obviously there's mega basers who hit limits, but that's like a very, very minor part of the entire appeal, or sorry, the entire community. So, yeah, it's kind of my thoughts there. Michael Lynch says, where did you get the art for your profile? I had someone make it, I think. I don't remember. I think it was Landmine who made that, maybe. Pretty sure. Let me say, Random Gear Gaming wishes me happy Christmas and New Year's. Will you as well? Yeah, because this video is now in 2021. Is there a way we can get a save file for this Crash Story 2 base? I've been playing for a while with a friend, and we've used some of the builds in this base, and I'd love to check it out. So the base shown in that video was a base tour. I'm not sure if I still have that save file. I could try to find in the person whose base tour it was. I have it labeled. I have their name in the video, on my computer in the video file, but I'm not sure if I can contact them again or not. That could be difficult. I can try. And the other question is, do you think the devs will add more science to the ability to upgrade items like wooden power poles to medium power poles? Well, you can already upgrade medium wooden power poles to to put from, sorry. You can already upgrade wooden power poles to medium power poles. You just place the medium power pole over them, and that's it. Unless you mean like clicking on them and upgrading them, which doesn't really seem that much easier than just placing them on top, or you could just use the upgrade planner as well. So they kind of already do that. In terms of adding more science, no. Maybe in a DLC, certainly not in like a base game update. No way. Absolutely not. Maybe in the DLC they would. I don't know. I think they're pretty satisfied with where science is at right now. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want them to. I'm just saying it's unlikely. Let me see. It's not a question. Not a question. Let me see. I think that's about it, guys. Actually, that about covers it. This was, how long was this? 20 minutes. It seems like a decent length. I could pull one more question from Fred G. He posted so many questions, and there are some really good ones. Let me see. Okay, here's an interesting one. They say, personally, not YouTube related, do you think it is better to tell the truth in as nice a way as possible, or say nothing than it is to lie and make someone feel good? I think this is not a black and white answer. I think I'm very much of the philosophy and actually follow the principle that it's not a black and white answer, and that sometimes one or the other is better. Now, do I support just lying, like, in general? No. Especially, like, consistent lying, that's not good at all. But people, because there's a lot of people who think that just telling the truth always, 100% of the time, doesn't matter. Like, even if you try to do it in nice way as possible, like, even if you say something in a nice way as possible to someone and it's the truth, you're still gonna make them feel bad. It's still gonna be upsetting. It's still gonna be hurtful, or something else with a bad effect. And they just think that absolutely 100% gotta tell the truth all the time. I don't agree with that. I think telling the truth as much as possible is a philosophy I try to follow, but there are definitely times where I just say nothing at all. That's I think really, in a lot of cases with like dealing with other people where like telling the truth would cause an issue, I think saying nothing at all, if possible, is better than lying. There have been cases where I have lied or fibbed a little bit, like, just, you know, just because it literally, it doesn't, in my opinion, there are cases where telling the truth doesn't really do any good at all, like, in that situation. Like, there have been times where just like telling the where I don't know, like, I can't think of a specific example. There have been times where telling the truth, even if I say it as nicely as possible, is going to just like create a huge like blow up situation, or like make someone feel bad, like really bad, even when I say it in a nice way, or, you know, just cause a really awkward bad situation that is like not a positive outcome for anybody. And it's just like, I don't understand what that would achieve. It doesn't seem to achieve anything useful. Again, like, I don't pathologically lying like all the time, absolutely don't support that. Lying about little things all the time, I don't even support that. But in specific situations, I do think that either saying nothing would be the best option, or if that's not an option and telling the truth is gonna have a really negative effect, then just maybe just like sugarcoat the truth. Like, maybe like tell it like halfway, or like change some of it, or if you have to lie, but like, I don't know, it's hard to, you know, explain without a specific example. But I do think in some cases it just, that there's just not really any useful outcome from just flat out telling the truth. Like, in those situations, I just only see negative, like, unuseful outcomes from it. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. We're about 25 minutes. That seemed like a good length. And there you go, guys. So if you have any other questions for me, game-related, Factorio-related, non-related to either, like some of these other questions, feel free to ask them, please, in this video in the comments, and I'll answer them next week. And I think that should do it. I want to give a quick mention that I know the videos have been few and far between lately. Seems like I haven't been active at all, which I haven't really. I've been insanely busy with the holidays. And my other job I took a little while ago, part-time job, but it's been crazy. Holidays are basically over for a good while. The part-time job is calming down. So things should be getting back on track here within the next week. So you can expect videos to pick up again, some more variety of videos besides just like the normal Reddit Weekly and this one and my Spotlight. Definitely should be some more. So keep an eye out for that. I haven't completely gone inactive or anything. Just been really busy, guys, and really tired. So there you go. Thank you so much, as always, for all your support. If you did enjoy, a like is much appreciated. Again, ask your questions below. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to keep up with all the content. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.